Okay, okay, there we go. I want to welcome everybody to tonight's land use meeting of the Community Advisory Council. Can somebody help me do a roll call?
I'll do roll call. Larry Bender, chair.
Here.
Sue?
Here.
Me, I'm here. Lynette's going to be late. Yael is here. Lindy?
Not yet.
Not yet. Robin?
Here.
Paul?
No.
That'll come up at an announcement for Paul.
Okay. And Julie is here. I heard her voice. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. So introductions. Again, we're having this meeting on Zoom. For those of you that are not familiar with Zoom, at the bottom of the screen, there's usually a place where you can raise your hand. So when it comes time for people to talk and stuff, or you have a comment to make or a question to ask, hit that. If you're on a phone like my voice is, I have to do *6 to mute or unmute myself. And that's pretty much for the meeting here. If you do have questions along the way, we will try to answer them and help you through this. For the chairperson's announcements, I'm sad to say that one of our members, our public members, Paul Hirschfield, will no longer be on land use. He's decided to take a break for a while. So we will keep the chair empty for a while until the time being. Are there any announcements from any members of land use? I don't see any things. What else? Public comment. If anyone would like to make a public comment for any item that is not on the agenda, now would be a time to put that in. We try to limit it to 3 minutes so this doesn't take all night long. I see someone's got their hand up. Patrick. Okay.
Somebody needs to unmute him.
Oh, sorry. That's me. Sorry.
Okay, I think I got unmuted here. So Larry, I wanted to ask you a question here just for protocol. There's 4 items on the agenda tonight. I would like to comment on all 4 of them right now instead of taking 3 minutes for each one. Would that be where I should do it, or would you like me to just wait till each one comes up?
Who does? Go ahead and make it now. It will cover all the projects. If you want to mention those projects too, so you know which ones you're
okay.
going to make a comment on, and then
I would just like to let everybody know, including the applicants for these projects, that the Los Osos Sustainability Group is going to be appealing every one of these. We understand also that the county is making it known to applicants for projects over our water basin that even though the county is approving these or allowing these, that they will get appealed to the Coastal Commission. So they may be hung up in the Coastal Commission for a long time. If you don't want to spend a lot of money getting all of your permits that you are required to do with the county and your offsets and things like that, then you might want to think about the appeal before you get involved in it too much. We're going to be appealing the Della project for several reasons. One of them is that the Coastal Commission is going to be looking at the vacation rental ordinance coming up soon. And I think all those vacation rentals should just be held off of approval until after the Coastal Commission makes its decision, so we know what the situation is going to be with those in Los Osos. They have a 500-foot setback from any other rental type situation, such as stay at home, situations also, which there is one that's 480 feet away from them. So I would approve it or deny it just on that basis that it's not the 500 feet that it is required to be in the vacation rental ordinance. And if we start making allowances at 480, then the next one's going to be 495 and then 470 and 450. And we just need to stick with what the vacation ordinance says, and that's 500 feet from any other rental situation like that. Also, water-wise, you know, I think all of us realize that the people that are on vacation don't really take our conservation problems and our stressed overdrafted water or basin into consideration. So just on a water basis, we're going to be appealing that also until the vacation rental ordinance is out and we know exactly what's going on. So we're going to deny that one. As far as the other three goes, we're going to be denying all of them also, because these are all brand new constructions, regardless of whether they have their offsets that they have taken care of or not. I would like to read what the Coastal Commission says regarding offsets, and that's using Title 19. They're saying offsetting its anticipated water usage via a retrofit program. There are multiple concerns with this approach, including that it does not address nor is it consistent with the other LCP requirements that only allow a level of development commensurate with the safe yield groundwater extraction level. And because the efficiency and ability of retrofits to provide bona fide long-term water savings have not been borne out. And that is Coastal Commission staff remarks that they are making on a guest house that is going to be coming before them on Friday. So all the other programs, also these three projects, their septic systems are a really big concern for us, because we thought that the county was requiring all new construction to be required to have engineered septic systems, and these are not that. And we have a huge nitrate problem in our groundwater basin. So we're going to be appealing it on that. And the Coastal Commission is not going to like that idea about having old septic systems put in. So just so everybody knows, we are appealing these four projects. And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate it.
Okay, Patrick, thank you. Let's see, I see Yale's hand is up.
I just have a couple of comments. I think that the vacation rental do not take in consideration homestay in the.
Yael, we're not
Yes.
discussing this right now.
I understand, but Patrick opened it so up, so you cannot tell me not to. I mean,
Okay,
actually, we were supposed to talk about items not on the agenda. You let Patrick talk about all four items on the agenda out of order. I'm not saying he's not correct in what he's saying, but it was out of order. So are we not going to have meetings now anymore? Because
Okay, Yale, go ahead.
So
Go ahead, Yale.
Thank you. So first of all, it's not accurate about the vacation rental as far as I know, and I think that I'm quite certain about that. The other issues, that's fine, but I don't think that Patrick can dominate the agenda in the beginning in comments not on item on the agenda. So I'm not talking about the specific what Patrick said, but on the timing of it. So either we have an order or we don't have an order.
It's well noted, Yale. I wasn't sure, but now I don't have to don't have to let him talk for the rest of the evening. So then next we have Kurt Mammon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to waiting for people to do that. Yeah.
Kurt, are you there?
I've asked him to unmute.
Yes, I was not able to unmute myself, sorry. So I'm on the agenda tonight. My project is on the agenda tonight, but I also note that Patrick spoke about my project. And he said a few things that were concerning to me. One, I guess I'd like to understand that the Los Osos Sustainability Group is not affiliated with the Los Osos Citizen Advisory Council or this planning meeting. I think they're a separate group.
Yes, that's correct.
And he indicated in there he was going to be appealing all of these projects to the Coastal Commission, which is certainly concerning to somebody like me, a longtime Los Osos resident. And he indicated that, you know, the county maybe shouldn't have been issuing these Title 19 water certificates. We bought ours in 2014. We've had to go through a habitat conservation plan, which is going to expire in the next few years. So if we get stopped, it potentially is a life-altering event for us. And we've been working on trying to build on our lot that's adjoining our current property. Well, working on getting all the permits and everything and designs and spending the money to do it. It's all spent. The money is there. We've paid a MUP fee of $13,000. It's people's lives that you're playing with here. It's one thing to change things going forward for new people. It's another thing to kind of retroactively change the rules in a way that is really impactful in a very negative way. So I just wanted to say that after his
Okay. Thank you, Kurt. Bob, I see your hand is up, but I see Elena has her hand up before, and then we'll get to you, Bob, so you don't have to keep your hand up like that.
I've asked Elena to unmute herself.
Yes, thank you. My name is Elena Solias, and I'm just going to apologize in advance because I have not seen the agenda for tonight's meeting. I actually stumbled upon this after a Facebook post that I made regarding ADUs in Los Osos. So my comment may be out of turn, and so I'll apologize in advance. But my family has resided in Los Osos since the late 1940s, starting with my great-grandparents. My parents are homeowners in Los Osos and are looking at adding an ADU to their property. And I was just told that with the support of legal counsel, there are planning bodies and groups that are really working hard to prevent that from happening. And just to kind of tail on the comment that I just heard, you know, the ability for homeowners to add ADUs and increase living space for their family is really important, particularly for my parents who are aging and, you know, would not be able to afford to be in long-term care and are really thinking about their future. So I just want to say that I plan to investigate all these things and learn more about this process. But people's lives are really being impacted by this. And I've spent the greater part of 20 years working in homelessness services. And if we are going to deal with homelessness in our community, we really need to look at alternative housing. So anyways, there's my 2 cents until I learn more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well noted. Bob, I see your hand is up there.
Oh, I'm unmuting. I've asked you to unmute, Bob.
And then Lindy, I see your hand is up next.
Okay. I want to respond to the comment by Patrick about putting these things to the Coastal Commission. Essentially, this project that I'm working on, the Kavanaugh, which is not Kavanaugh, it's pure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. It's my
okay.
mistake.
Okay.
Sorry.
But we just had another project go into the Coastal Commission that Patrick's group appealed. And that project is out of town, down at the bottom of the hill. You make a left and you go right, and it's on an acre of land. It's got an upper aquifer well, okay? The solution to our water problem is upper aquifer blended with lower to reduce the draw and lower. This project should have never been appealed to the Coastal Commission. The Patrick's group that appealed it was completely wrong, and they've created a huge damage to this family that presently desperately needs this other unit for their family. They're all living inside this house, and the intention was to put some of the family out in this second unit. So for them to appeal this to the Coastal Commission is essentially really, really wrong, because they didn't look into the fact that it first has an engineered septic system and second has an upper aquifer well. For them to appeal these to the Coastal Commission and not do a full review to determine whether or not they are impacting the water is completely wrong. And my client presently has 300 water credits not 150 water credits. So he's got double what needs to be done because it was done previous to the reduction of the daily water consumption in our community. So if he appeals this one to the Coastal Commission, he's basically saying, if we provide water for 4 homes and want to build one, he's going to appeal us to the Coastal Commission. That is wrong, period.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Lindy, your hand was up next.
Am I muted?
Yes,
Yes.
you're here.
No,
again.
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, good. I guess I just wanted to, I mean, we do have a little bit of a water war going on here. Whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, as they say. And we are in a bit of a crisis with a basin that doesn't show that it's going to be sustainable in the future. So when people want to say that they've waited all these years, it's when new data comes up, you act on that current data. So we are concerned. I'm one of the people that's concerned that the basin cannot sustain new growth at this moment. But what my public comment is for items off the agenda is I am concerned about new septics going on to property that is above the highest nitrated area in the basin currently. S&T Sunset Terrace Water Company has huge nitrate problems in their wells, and they're having to shut them down. The only area that has density and does not have hookups to the sewer is the area where 3 of these proposed projects are. And I did not have a chance to find out, because it is difficult to look things up for me at least, to find out what the current rules are on new septics, on new construction. I think that area, the above in Cabrillo Estates, up in that area that all drains down towards the golf course area, has got to abide by the latest rules from Regional Water Quality Control Board, which say that they have to put the additional, I forgot what it's an upgrade so that we make sure that nothing comes out of those septics to add to the nitrate pollution down below. There's only one reason there's nitrate pollution down below, and that's because there's a lot of houses on small septic tanks. The rule is 1 acre, 1 septic. And so when you go to try to put it on a ½ acre or 1/3 of an acre or a small lot, you're basically doing exactly what happened to the rest of the community of Los Osos. We got too much nitrate coming into our system. So I want that to come up and start being a consideration. One thing is the water, but the next thing is if new developments in those areas is adding to our nitrate problem, which is increasing. It's supposed to be reducing. If it increases our nitrate issues, then I cannot support any of these new septic tanks unless they go on the advanced systems that I believe were required by the state. I don't know what the county does, since they seem to fudge a lot of that kind of data. So just a heads up, everybody, we've had a big group of us are paying for a sewer to clean the water for the people outside the prohibition, who apparently are now adding to that pollution. So okay. I think we need to remember that as we go along. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Lindy. Okay, let's see. I've got Julie, and then Kurt is next. Let's try to keep some of this short so we aren't here all night.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Julie. Julie Packer.
Julie, is she next?
Yep, Julie's next.
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I can hear you.
Great. Let me lower my hand. A few months ago, actually, Larry, with regard to the advanced septic systems, the LAMP program, and of course, I don't know the acronym for LAMP, was at the BMC. There was a meeting. I don't know if you guys want to go back and watch that meeting and watch the presentation from the county, or invite that county person to come and talk to you, to all of us, about the new rules for septics. A thought I had, because the septics through attrition are going to be replaced. As they fail, they will have to be replaced with the advanced systems. And so that means everybody in Cabrillo over the next 15 or 20 years, whatever it takes, will have a new septic system. They're very expensive, but there's like allowed 1 milligram per liter of nitrate to leave them. So it's coming. You're coming. And I just suggest you bring in a presentation from the county. And I'll send you the name of the person. I've just forgotten it right now.
Okay, Julie. Yeah, thank you. I remember seeing an email from you a while back about this, and I guess got lost. But yes, update me on that, and I'll see if I can get him to present here at the land use meeting.
Will do.
Anybody else have a comment before we go on with our agenda for today? Oh, Kurt Mayhem or Mayman.
Oh, shoot. I keep waiting for somebody else to do it. I'm sorry. This is my first time.
There, I got it. Yes, no?
Well, we're asking you to mute. Guess we have to wait for the system to get to you. Oh, you talked. I heard you.
There we go. Apologies. So I believe Lindy Owen, are you on the board or this commission? Am I understanding, or are you a member of the public? I'm sorry, I don't know everyone that is a member. You mentioned the nitrates, and that's an important issue. Obviously, it has been a long time in Los Osos. And back in the day when the prohibition zone was created and the 218 vote was had, I didn't have an option to vote on whether or not to connect to the sewer. If I had been able to vote, I probably would have voted to connect to the sewer. But I live in Bayview Heights, and it was outside the prohibition zone. So it's a kind of I bought outside the prohibition zone because at that time it was the only place you could build potentially in Los Osos because there was no sewer. I thought I was doing the wise and intelligent thing. And it would seem to me that it's kind of a taking to take somebody who didn't even have the ability to vote, who has done all the work that is required and all the permitting is required and all the reports that are required. And I'm not in Cabrillo Estates, where there seems to be more of a concern right now. It seems like kind of a blanket statement to say that we shouldn't be able to build because of the nitrate issue in a place like this. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay, Lindy, we're not getting into a big discussion tonight on these issues, and no,
Larry,
I don't want an answer. I had public comment. Everyone
took
gets a
Kurt
chance to make
twice,
their
so-
comment. Oh, my fault then.
Well, I
Okay,
had a
Lindy,
positive-
let's not get into it, please.
I'm not
I don't
arguing.
want.
I wanted to say that the point is that these projects, as they come forward, are showing simple septic systems. They need to be having the advanced septic systems as new construction. That's
Okay,
all.
and
Doesn't mean
I'll
they
get in touch.
can't build.
I'll get in touch with Julie's contact, and I'll
Thank you.
have them come and bring us up to date. Kurt and Bob, I don't want to get on this. We don't know what it is. I want to move ahead. Kurt, it's your project next. You want to go ahead and give us
No, Larry,
present your project?
we need to
What?
approve minutes first, Larry.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, so we finished public comment. We need to approve the minutes from our last meeting, November 1st. Would anyone make a motion to approve them?
So moved. I'll make
Okay.
that motion. Yeah.
And I'll second it. Julie made the motion, I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor, show by putting your hand up. Okay. Anyone opposed or refrain from voting? I don't see that.
We have
So
an opposed. Julie put up her
That's a
hand.
thumb up. That's the thumbs up. That's a.
Approve, that's a,
oh, those are thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, now we can move on to agenda items. And Kurt, yours is the first one. If you'd like to make a presentation on it, and then we'll open it up to comment or questions.
he's muted.
Oh, damn it. Sorry, I asked you to unmute, please.
Okay. So I had a few things I wanted to say before I started, but first, just good evening, and nice to kind of get to know who some of the people's names I've been seeing are and various reports I've been reading. My name is Kurt Mammon, and my wife Renee is also attending tonight, and we're the owners and applicants of a project under consideration tonight. Sue Morgenthaler indicated that we did not need to present the project plans to you because you had access to them prior to this meeting, and the intent of us being here was primarily to ask questions or answer questions that you might have about the project, which we'd be happy to do. And I'd just like to say a few things about the history of us and our project to maybe personalize this a little bit. And I also just wanted to comment on, if I might, the nitrate question that came up. It does seem to me that a planning commission can condition projects if they feel there is something that needs to be changed about plans. And if it's appropriate, based on what I'm hearing tonight, for the septic plan to have to be different or more robust than what the county asked me for, it would seem appropriate for a planning committee like this to potentially approve a project with a condition that that issue be addressed. I'm not getting the impression that that's necessarily the intent of the comments that I'm hearing, but I would hope that in the spirit of neighborliness, maybe that would be one way to address such an issue. I would like to say Renee and I have been longtime Central Coast residents and Los Osos residents. I first came to the Central Coast in 1977, Renee in 1995. I've lived here permanently for over 30 years and Renee almost as long as that. I just recently retired from Cal Poly as a lecturer. I was not a full professor, so I was not making a full professor salary. I've lived on the Central Coast as a contributor to our community. Renee is a nurse at French Hospital, also a contributor to the community. We're middle-class people trying to scratch together a living on the Central Coast because we love it here. And we love the people that are here. We love the place that we live and have a lot of the same concerns that all of you seem to be demonstrating regarding our environment and water issues and nitrate issues and so on. But we bought our property in 2006 outside the prohibition zone because that was one of the only places we could build a house in Los Osos, and we wanted to do that. We were not quite as aware of how difficult the process was going to be regarding the Morrow shoulder-banded snail and how long it was going to take to do a self-report on that, because we couldn't afford to pay someone to do it. But we just dove in, we bought the property. We tried to buy the lot by itself because we wanted to build a house, but the sellers who had the house and adjoining property did not want to sell them separately. So we stretched, took money out of our retirement accounts so that we could afford the house and the lot and bought them both. And we did that with the assurance from our realtor that we would be able to sell the house immediately. And we put the house right back on the market. Unfortunately, that was December 2006, which probably most of you recall is considered the peak of the housing bubble. So we ended up not being able to sell the house, and we are still living in that same small house with one bathroom. We've raised our 2 children there. The nice thing about it is we had a big yard, a vacant lot attached to our property for the kids to play in. It was all good, and it allowed time for me to do things like a self-report for the HCP to save that money. We had to hire someone to do the biological resource assessment. We had to hire somebody to do the archaeological report. You know, there's a lot of things that I could do and a lot of things I couldn't do. we moved all those things forward. The first thing we did was put a water meter in, because lots of people are saying, oh, once the sewer's built, we're going to be able to build out in Los Osos. And we knew that that was not going to be true, because I was aware there was a water issue here well before, as many of you probably were, well before the sewer issue. So I knew as soon as the sewer issue was resolved, the next thing was going to be water. So we put in a Golden State water meter. We've been paying for it for going on 15 years now. It's on. But it turned out that was not sufficient. Then the retrofit program came in, and we were told if you wanted to be able to get a MUP, which we require in the coastal zone, you were going to have to retrofit. So we, in 2014, paid $18,000 to retrofit plumbing fittings so that we had the right to build a house. So we thought we had been doing all the things that the federal government required, that the state required, that the county required to build a house. And I retired this year to do an owner builder. And we've run into, unfortunately, what feels like a wall here with the community, or at least the people on the advisory council saying no. Not all my neighbors feel that way. Some do, some don't. But it is what it is. So I'm here to just kind of tell you some of the history of that, so you can get a sense. We're not people from outside the community. People have been rubbing elbows with you all for 30 years plus. And we aren't just trying to get something that we don't think is reasonable. We've already, at least as far as we knew, had obtained the right for water. And we've supposedly been saving the community water since 2014. It sounds like there are reports that indicate, well, it's not provable water savings into perpetuity. I didn't design the program. I participated in the program because I was told that's what I needed to do. Trying to do the right thing. I appreciate the fact that we live in a place where people want us all to do the right thing. I think we're doing the right thing by trying to build an infill project in Bayview Heights. The other characteristics of our project is that it conforms to all of the codes. We aren't asking for any exceptions to any of the rules. We've got the existing meter, as I indicated. We have the Title 19 water certificate. In 2019, we started the process, and we're told by the county that the retrofit certificate would allow for an ADU. So we designed a house with an ADU, and then were contacted by the county saying that we couldn't because we were outside the prohibition zone. So Bruce Gibson evidently was working on a water basin plan that had to do with lining up demand with build out. And he said that he would not be able to support our project. So we went back to the drawing board and we redesigned a new house, a smaller house without an ADU. It's not free to do that. That was money, but I didn't feel like I wanted to fight my own supervisor and my own neighbors if that was what we needed to do to align the water basin plan with what was going to be the build out plan. That seemed like a good thing. So we went back and designed a house without an ADU and smaller and one less bathroom in the 3-bedroom house than we were planning. And another important consideration for us individually is we only have about 4 more years on our habitat conservation plan / incidental take permit regarding the snail. If that expires, it hadn't occurred to me that it was going to expire because we weren't that close to that limit. But it's now starting to occur to me that if we have groups like the sustainability group appealing everything to the Coastal Commission, we might lose our habitat conservation plan, which is a non-trivial expenditure of time and energy, and would certainly be a stopper for us as well. So there's a lot of issues, as you all know, for somebody to try to build a house in this area. We've run into all of them, and we thought we had mitigated and all of them. And what we were down to was just getting a design that fit the community and fit the rules and regs of what needed to be built. I feel like we've done that. And I'm happy at this point to answer any questions about the project that any of you might have.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Very thorough history of all the work you've gone through. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Yale, I see your hand
Yeah, hi, Kurt.
Yeah.
So you live right now you're residing in the same area where you're going to build the new house? Or you
Yeah,
residing somewhere else?
the lot was subdivided in the 70s by the original owners that built the house in the 60s. And in the 70s, they went to the county and had a lot split approved, a 5-0 vote that approved the lot split. They hadn't ever filed the certificate of compliance, but that was the first thing we did when we bought the property, was a couple $1,000s to go get the certificate of compliance done. Long list, probably about $50,000 we've spent in fees to get to this point. That was 2,000 of it.
So you're adding another house, basically. You still have your house?
Yeah, we have a small 1-bathroom house on 2/3 of an acre, and then the lot is attached. In essence, it's between 2 other houses that don't belong to us. At this point, they're 2 legal lots, 2 APNs. It happens to be adjoining our current residence.
Okay. So you're going to reside in these two homes?
Well, we're at a point in our retirement where if we can build the house, we'll live in the house. Currently, the lot is on the market because we can't afford as part of our retirement plan was to have a house. And as I said, when we tried to sell this house in 2006, we couldn't, and then time just kind of got away with us with life and kids and everything else. And so we're here now at this point in our life where I am now retired. We would like to build a house and live in it. And if we can get the permits, we'll sell this house that we live in so that we can live in that house.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, Lindy, hang on. I see Julie got her hand up.
Yeah, I had a quick question for you, Kurt. I thought you said that the Title 19 certificate that you got in 2014, is that?
I believe that's the correct year, yes.
Okay, that's a good long while ago. So you have been saving water for the community. What I would note for the panel is that predates the washing machine
right
addition. So your retrofit certificate did not include changing out washing machines.
I believe not.
Yeah, I don't think that would chronologically that doesn't work. So those were not allowed at the time. So you have been saving water.
Yeah, I got it at the end of one of the programs because it was expiring and somebody wasn't able to use it. So they had done it and there wasn't a new program yet. So we thought it would be wise for us to get one while there was one to be gotten.
Well, that was wise for sure. And
well, maybe not from what I'm hearing.
Just for the panel and your consideration.
Thanks.
I just wanted that to be clarified.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I have to just say that the way you've articulated your journey is very understandable, and I will be supporting your project, and I hope the others do too. It seems like you've done everything you can, and whatever's new, whether it's an engineered septic system, that'll be caught in the conditions of approval, as you said.
Yeah, that seems hopeful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are there, Lindy, you had your hand up. Lindy?
Yeah, okay. I had a couple of, I'm getting a feedback, but I guess I had a couple of issues. The house that you're in now looks like a fairly large house. You say it has
it's about 1,180 feet.
Okay. And the property next door, I mean, there is the possibility of staying in the house that you're in and putting your lot up for sale, which will hit the same, blocks that you're hitting right now.
Well, the land value is significantly different if one can't build on it.
Same problem with a lot of other people in Los Osos. So,
well, a lot of other people don't have habitat conservation plans and Title 19 retrofit certificates from 2014 and live in Bayview Heights, which is zoned in a way that there's space and would allow development in a way that's not going to, it's not like a Cabrillo situation, I don't think, with the nitrate issues affecting Sunset Terrace in the same way. There are a lot of things that are different, I think, and outside the prohibition zone used to mean something. I guess it doesn't mean anything anymore. But again, we didn't have the opportunity to vote on that 218 vote. So it's not something that we had an opportunity to partake in.
Well, we didn't get a chance to include the entire community either. That was a regional board decision that none of us got a chance to have any say in. Though I think we did make plenty of comment.
Okay.
Am I limited
Lindy,
to what?
No, go on.
Thank you. I'm
go
just
on.
getting interrupted. I'm not sure why, but I just wanted to say moving a new house with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths with expected 200 gallon a day usage is an increase in the water hauling. And yes, the certificate does mean that you retrofitted early, which was a good thing. So I guess I still have a problem with new development right now. I don't think that when you have a lack of resources showing that it's a time to go ahead and add more use of those resources. So, and then I just want you to definitely be aware that there would be a requirement for the advanced system as far as what I understand about why we had to put a sewer in the first place was nitrates coming from septic tanks. So the new laws in California would be adding some cost for that septic tank. I guess I also wondered about the access road. You have a legal right of way from the neighboring property.
Across the neighboring property, there's about 15 homes in this area, just in our little tight neighborhood. I think there's more in the whole Bayview Heights area, but all 15 homes around here have easement access across other people's property. It's very common.
Yeah, and that's probably one of my other concerns is more congestion in that area. I know that you'll meet the fire codes and those kinds of things, but I guess I just wanted to say that I appreciate the struggles that you've gone through and the steps you've taken, but it sort of looks like it's everybody's at the last gasp now trying to get things done before we do end up with a probable water moratorium. So I hope things go well for you. Thanks.
Well, I hope you can support us. It seems like if you want to stop additional demand, the place to do it is not with people that have been working diligently for a long period of time and jumped all the hurdles and gone through all the hoops. It's real money and time and energy that's been spent by us and our family. It's impactful. It's non-trivial.
Okay. Thank Kurt. Sue, I see you have your hand up.
Thanks, Larry. Kurt, I just wanted to say that in regards to what you said earlier, we are not playing with your lives. We feel for you. We appreciate your stories. This is hard for us to hear all this stuff too, but it's important to know we are advisory only. We do not set precedent. We are not going to decide your fate. Our job is to tell the county what's going on in Los Osos, how we feel, how these projects impact us. And we've learned a lot about our water basin, and our purveyors are saying we're having trouble with our water. And I can't tell you how many people we get. We've got 4 water projects this month. We've got 4 water projects next month. We've had, everybody wants their water project, and everyone has good reasons why it's important that they get them. But it's important to remember too, we are not deciding your fate. We're just telling you how we feel about our community and our water. And Locac made a decision that we were going to not recommend for approval these projects. We're not support them, I guess. We're not saying one thing or other than we will not support projects because of the water usage and the community. I think someone spoke to us before tonight, and she said that people's lives will be impacted if you don't let them build their houses. Well, the whole community is going to be impacted if we run out of usable water. So that's where we're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. And you'll have more opportunity to tell your stories, and it's up to whoever, Coastal Commission or whatever to decide, but that's where we are. And I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
I assume in a normal world, if there were not water issues and nitrate issues, the purpose of this committee would be to review the project for community standards and impacts on neighbors and those types of things. Is that something that's still happening? Because it would seem like the county would benefit from an actual review of the project, and then you have your political statement to make to them about why you're recommending denial, but they also need the other information to be able to make good decisions, because they can choose to ignore your advice potentially. The Coastal Commission's a whole nother game and a whole nother level of expense, as that gentleman threatened earlier, that we might not want to spend the money getting ready to build a project because he's going to appeal it. And damn, I've already spent that money. So I guess I have to go through that process and spend more money. But it would be nice if I could have a sense of whether the project itself, despite the water and despite nitrate concerns, which are the two big issues that seem to keep coming up, if there are questions about that, or if it feels like it conforms and it's a good project otherwise.
I looked at your project. I think it completely conforms to what the county is asking. I mean, it's a 1,900 square foot house. I looked at the plans on the computer. Everything looked fine.
And when we tell the county how we voted and what we said, we will include all that information when we submit when Locac makes the final decision.
May I ask if all the people that will be voting have reviewed the project as Trish just mentioned that she had, and is that something everyone's done? And is there
yes,
questions?
Yeah, we should all have done so. We all have the files, we've had them, and we should have done so, yes.
So is this where I would hear if there were any concerns or questions about it, or should I assume if I'm not hearing those things that everything's fine except for the water and nitrates?
And you heard about the septic system, the septic.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that.
Yeah. Kurt, I'd like to move this along and open it up to the public. If there's any comments or questions from members of the public. I'm not seeing any hands raised or anybody waving their hand in front of the cameras. So is there anyone like to make a motion on this project?
Patrick and Julie have their hands up now.
Well, Patrick already spoke, but
Patrick already spoke. Julie, you already spoke too, unless you have
to make the
something to add.
I would like to make a motion.
Oh, okay.
I said I'd like to make the motion, Larry.
All right, I have two motions
And to make
here, and I saw Sue's first. Oh gosh, Sue, why don't you go ahead and make a motion, and then we'll see.
Okay. I guess because of the action of Locac, the motion that I'd like to make is that land use will not make a recommendation on this project until the water concerns of the Basin Management Committee, the CSD, the Coastal Commission staff, and our water purveyors have been resolved. Although the project has merits and you're doing exactly what the county is asking of you, added water usage at this time is questionable, and we will not be supporting it.
Is there a second to that?
I will second it.
Oh, I saw Lindy also had her hand up for second. Okay.
Unmute her. You need to unmute her.
Hang on, Lindy. Where'd you go?
I asked you again. Whoops.
Tricia's good for a second. I just have a dog that's making a lot of noise.
Oh, okay. My dog's here. Same thing. All in favor of the project?
The
Signify by
motion,
raise
No.
Project or that
the
motion?
motion,
motion.
yeah,
All in favor of the motion.
I'm in
To
favor.
Robin, Sue, Trish, Lynette,
No, not Lynette.
Lindy.
Lynette's not here.
Lindy, I'm sorry. Oh, there's Lynette. Hi. Lynette, in favor of the motion, or
You
No.
need to
I
unmute her.
can't hear. I can't hear Lynette.
Unmute her.
You're muted, Lynette.
Hang on, there's
He's
Lynette.
asking-
I have not heard a single thing. I just got here. I'm sorry I'm so late, so I will abstain.
Okay. And Yael?
I'll abstain too.
Okay, so that's 3 abstain
I'm an
and
absolute no.
Julie's an absolute no. And that's 4. Did I see 4 in favor?
Sue is in
Yeah.
favor, Trish is in favor, Lindy,
And Robin.
Robin. How about
So-
you, Larry?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, abstain, Yael is abstaining, Lynette is abstaining, and Julie is a no. Is that right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay,
So we'll send this on to the Locac.
When there's a tie, which that's what this is.
We have
No,
4
no,
to 3.
Julie.
We have 4 to 3.
4 to 4.
I don't
No,
count abstaining as voting no for the project.
But it isn't,
Or
a-
no for the,
so it is not, it's not an approval. So-
Julie,
There's-
the
there's 3 in favor and 1 opposed, 4 in favor and 1 opposed.
the official definition of an abstention is that you are taking yourself out of the voting process, so you don't qualify
You're mistaken,
as
but,
anything.
you're gonna do whatever you want, but I'm gonna suggest that we need to address that in the policy, what abstention really means. Because
Okay.
Okay, well, we will take that up at another meeting.
4-4 vote.
Yeah, and I say it's a 4 to 1 vote. So moving along to our next project, Kurt, thank you very much.
It would
Um,
seem, it would seem like if there's a question about what the meaning of the vote is, that's impactful to my project that we're addressing here.
So I'm giving the meaning of the vote right now because in our own organization we might have to talk about it, but that's 4 in favor of the motion, 1 opposed to the
Could I
motion.
come up before
3.
the committee again in the future if you're going to discuss it and perhaps change what it means?
Kurt, you're gonna be invited to the next Locac meeting, which is in January, and you'll have a slightly different makeup of the panel. Some of these same people will be there, and they'll get to vote on the project. We are just the land use committee. The Locac is the Los Osos Community Advisory Council, and they are a body of 11. Some are elected, some are appointed. It's just a different, we're preliminary, so to speak.
Well,
But
I understand that, but it's a little, it feels a little unruly to have the meaning of the vote be ambiguous, especially when it's going against me.
The meaning of the vote is not ambiguous, Kurt. The definition is you are formally declining to vote either way. If you don't vote either way, you can't be counted. That we can, if you want us to write that into the bylaws, we can do that. But what I wanted to say is that Locac wrote a letter to the county taking an action saying they will not support new water use projects until the water problem has been resolved. And we, all of us on this committee have signed a
Within
code
our
of
code of
conduct.
conduct, we're supposed to support that.
Can
through
I
our code
can I
of
make
conduct.
one point?
Julie, can you
And-
let us finish first and then you can talk?
I looked for that letter and I believe I found it. There's no real definition of new water, is there?
Yes.
Well, we're certainly interpreting it as such. So let me find the letter.
Can
'Cause
I?
I wouldn't consider water where a retrofit certificate was purchased in 2014 and an existing water meter that's on. I wouldn't consider that new water.
Okay, expect us, project denials will be made with the understanding that the existing building requirements may not address the current basin condition, thereby imperiling the ability of Losos to have a water supply adequate for the current residents. So it's very clear.
Can I make one point before we close this item?
Go ahead, Julie. Go ahead and go ahead.
Okay, we have 9 people on the committee. We just had a resignation. You need a majority to pass a vote, and that would be 5, a majority of the committee.
Julie, 3 people took themselves out of the voting
You still have to have
process. So
5.
that means we have 5 people voting.
No, you have to have 5 affirmatives to pass something. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Right.
we can send it to Locac as a stalemate.
We'll send it.
Okay, wait.
I
Then-
would appreciate that.
Okay. As chairperson, I'm going to change my vote. If it's going to cause this thing, I'm going to vote for the
Motion?
motion.
Okay. Thank you. I have changed it
Wouldn't
in.
there need to be a new motion if the vote is already taken?
You know, we're just an advisory committee. We can do, this
Whatever you
is
want.
getting out of hand. You want us to make a motion, I make a motion that we revote.
Well, Julie was interested in making a motion that if she
Well,
was.
I just made a
she
motion.
would- Well, you
It's
made
on the
one earlier
table.
and she was the second person that wanted to
Would
make.
you like me to mute you, sir?
You may.
Sue.
No.
Sue,
So that's really rude.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we have the vote done. I'm sorry. And we are moving on to the next project now. Kurt, hope to see you in January at the community advisory meeting. Your project will be there. So do we have a representative for the next project here?
There is a hand up.
Oh, shoot.
Mary Welton.
Mary Ann Walton.
Mary,
Oh, Mary Ann Welton, okay.
Elena wanted to say, I don't know.
Yeah, is Elena, is she with this project?
Mm-mm.
I don't think so. She just had her hand up.
Mary Ann, is Elena with this project?
No,
No?
no. So am I supposed to start my presentation?
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Mary Ann.
Okay, I'm Mary Ann Welton. This is my husband, Kirk. We were in front of your committee, I believe it was in April, and received approval for our project. We have made some slight revisions to the project and are coming back for additional input from you. I was unaware of this letter that you wrote the county about how you're going to oppose any new water use projects. Our project does have a tier 2, would have a tier 2 septic system, which meets all of the highest requirements. And I don't know what else you need to know from me. You've seen the plans. We just made slight revisions. We had a separate guest house that we eliminated and added an extra bedroom to the house. This is going to be our retirement house. We have 2 sons that live in San Luis Obispo area. And we purchased the lot last year. We've been working and going through all of the environmental review process that we need to for the county. I've worked for an architect for 43 years and I'm very familiar with this type of process. My husband is a contractor and we would be building this for ourselves to live in. Do you have any questions?
Sue.
Sue, go ahead.
Great, thanks. Mary Ann, I was wondering, you mentioned in your project that you were having a future residential an ADU or additional residential unit?
No,
But
that
that's
was in
the
our
permit.
original plan that we submitted, but we changed that. And we changed it to a 4-bedroom house instead of adding a separate structure.
I see. So it's all in one. I must have been looking at the wrong files. They both have the same date on them, so I apologize.
Okay, are there any other questions from members of land use? Lindy, I see your hand up.
Oh, Lindy, I'll unmute you. Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I looked over the original plans and then pretty much looked at the redo. And what I can see is that the redo is taking the ADU or guest house and adding it into the main structure, making it a 4th bedroom. It has its own entry, and it looks like it could have a kitchen put into it in the future. So
the purpose is not for it to be an ADU. The purpose is for our extended family to be able to come and stay with us whenever they want.
okay. Again, your water use was originally 350 gallons a day, and making a larger house brought it down to 250. So I'm curious how that works.
I mentioned that I'm a project manager for an architect for the last 43 years. And one of the things that our firm specializes in is sustainable design, and especially LEED certified buildings for US Green Building Council. So we have looked at ways to reduce our water use through restriction, through low water use fixtures. We have very little landscape that will need to be watered on the property. We intend to keep it as a natural type of landscape. We do have to plant 60 manzanita bushes. Half of our lot is dedicated open space, and we will be doing that over there.
Okay, that is good. I looked at so many projects. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit. You say that you had water capture from the roof drains to maintain positive. Well, what came out is that
my husband answer that question.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I'd like to know how roof drainage into a positive drainage that would go to San Sebastian Lane addresses landscaping water.
We aren't taking the water off the roof or any of the property to San Sebastian Lane. We're taking it into detention basins, 2 or 3 of them on the property, and then a detention basin down toward the curb. So any water comes off the roof is filtered back into the ground, which is not required in your area, but it is where I build in the Bay Area. And it's also something we think is important. The other thing we like to do, which the county may or may not let us do, is put in a driveway that's not all concrete. Now they insist on a 9-foot wide concrete, and we'd rather put in permeable pavers with gravel between the pavers. So it goes into a basin of rock and dissipates back down in the ground. We are not interested, nor do we think it's right, to take water off a house and stick it in the street. It causes problems downstream from us, and we'd rather keep it on the property. And that's our intention.
Yeah. And in addition, a portion of the roof is a living roof, so that retains the water and dissipates it more slowly into the landscape.
That's the added 4th bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there was you keep mentioning ADU. It's never called an ADU because it's not allowed in Cabrillo Estates.
It's called
It's an accessory residential unit, so it's never been an ADU. It's attached now, so it's better, easier for us structurally. It's never going to be an ADU, and it does have a green roof on it so that we soften our look to the neighbors behind us, and also create more space for grasses and native plants to grow. A comment about the septic system that everybody seems a little unclear on is that we have to put in a tier 2 sewage treatment plant, privately operated by us, checked every year by the county or the state, and inspected by them and maintained. And we produce out of that tier 2 system water that is almost drinking quality water that's put back into the ground 6 to 12 inches below the earth so they can water plants on our property. The person building directly behind us doesn't have to do that. That's an active project right now.
Yeah, and I noted that there is a project that they're back to back, so that was interesting.
So this is
I just saw,
this is a $50,000 tier 2 septic system sewage treatment plant to offset the problems that everybody's concerned about. And I agree, I think it's a problem. I don't disagree with that.
thank
But
you.
it's a draconian issue we're dealing with, and the neighbor next to us doesn't have to do that. We're happy to do it because it may allow us to build, but it is an expense.
So again, just another odd question. The water capture from the roofs will go into drainage, but the septic effluent that's been treated will go into taking care of 5,746 square feet of drip irrigation.
Not 5,000, no, it'll go into the septic field area, which is about 300 square feet.
It just doesn't sound like there's water recapture that's actually going to take care of your landscaping.
So the water that comes off the roof will be directed into a swale that's planted. And as that swale goes down our driveway to the right of our driveway, close to the live oak trees, it will be watering the plants in that swale. It'll go into detention basin. When it comes out of there, it'll go further down the swale, then go down to the very bottom. There will be a swale built in that has permeable soil in it that's planted out. So as this water travels down our property, it will be indeed watering landscape.
Okay.
And that water is stormwater.
It's stormwater.
The plans say 5,746 square feet of drip irrigation. So I don't know.
I think that's the whole property. I don't know. We don't plan on doing that. That's not correct.
Yeah.
We're not planting a lawn or anything. We'd only be watering a plant here or there, or the 60 manzanita that we have to plant, which I understand we have to do, but that drip irrigation would be for that. We don't intend on lawns and massive landscape. We want drought resistant, if it's anything at all. We like the native approach or look of it as it is. And since half our property is open space with a 85-foot diameter live oak tree on it, we want to maintain that untouched as best we can. So I'm not sure where the 5,000 square feet come from. That's a mistake on our landscape architects.
I know it's, when you go through and read all the plan details, that's just something I picked up. I thought was.
I know it's in there. It's not correct. We aren't watering a lawn of any size like that.
Okay.
We aren't putting any lawn in.
Okay. And again, I think, what Sue is trying to say is that we are not against projects that meet all the requirements that the county has. We are against projects that take any more water out of our basin, even with the retrofit program, which is, being revised because it was never adequate. So it's not personal, but.
We understand that. We do have a will serve letter from the water service company.
Yeah, I saw that. So thank you.
Sure.
Those are my questions.
Okay. Are there any more questions from members of the board? Are there any questions from members of the public? Questions or comments? Okay. Anybody like to make a motion on this project?
I'd like to make the motion.
Okay.
This is Julie. First of all, I think your project is fascinating. I love the features that you're putting in that are green in nature, and I would like to make the motion that we recommend approval to Locac.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Lynette.
Okay. All in favor of Julie's motion, signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Or I see two. Yale, I don't know where you are.
I'll keep abstaining today. I mean, I'm pretty conflicted about the whole thing.
Okay. All opposed to Julie's project, raise your hand.
Project. It's a nice.
Or not project, the motion, I'm sorry.
Only because of the water.
And same here, only because of the water. Project's fine project, just it's added water use to our basin until we get it settled.
32, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So thank you very much. This will go on to the Community Advisory Council next month in January, the fourth Thursday of January. And you'll again be able to tell the people about your project. So moving on to
Thank
the
you.
next, yes, and thank you very much. To the per wall project.
Okay, so we got Bob, right?
Can I say something really quick here? I am gonna recuse myself because we have worked on this project in the past.
Okay. Thank you, Julie.
Okay.
Bob, were you gonna?
Yes. This project is at the top of Madera, of course, you know where it's at. And it's for a family that's trying to relocate to this area. And when they purchased the property, there were retrofits already provided as part of the purchase of the property. And those retrofits were done before we got to the 150 per household rate. They were done when there was 300 per household rate. So they retrofitted equal to 600 gallons a day times 2. So what they did back at the time that they put the property on the market, they had retrofits equal to what 4 homes average in a day, and they haven't used any water in the past 10 years. So they have provided water for 10 years for 4 homes. So that means they could build and draw from the system, and by the time that they would catch up or break even, if they ever did, we would have a solution to our water problem already existing. So for anyone to deny this project relative to water needs to take a look in the mirror and decide whether or not they're leaving Los Osos because they use water every day. And they're now telling this person that invested in this property, oh, we use water, but you can't. That is wrong. And Patrick, if this gets appealed to the Coastal Commission, because this guy bought this property with all the water savings and has provided a public benefit for well over 10 years on this property, to appeal it to the Coastal Commission is wrong. It's a violation of reasonable rights of property owners. And
Can I ask the question about the project?
If you want to appeal that to the Coastal Commission, step out of your house and make it available for somebody else.
Mr. Kreiser, it's not the time for a political debate. I have a question on the project.
Yes.
So on the 590 square foot guest house, are they still doing that?
It's attached to the house, and it's not a guest house, it's a granny unit made for family to stay in. It has no cooking appliance, it has an under-counter refrigerator, and it has no washing machine. It's all about family to have a place to stay.
So it does have a bathroom and a shower, correct?
It has a bathroom and a shower, yes.
Okay, and a sink for like a mini.
It's a wet bar. It's a wet bar.
Wet bar. Okay. And you're calling it a granny?
The county term for it is a granny.
It's a guest house. It's a guest house.
Well,
Because I can pull my legal stuff right here.
Yeah,
So it's a guest house.
Both
Okay.
terms.
Chris, we're not here to decide what the county wants to call it.
No, I just wanted to know what was in it, Larry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the board?
Robin has one, and I'm going to ask her to unmute.
I'm trying. There we go.
There we go.
Actually, though, this discussion as to, with Mr. Kreiser calling this granny unit, guest house, ADU, words have meaning. So it is good to have this described properly. What once was called, what we now call an ADU.
No, an ADU is no.
Bob, let her speak, please.
Okay.
I'm talking, right?
I thought you were finished. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I thought you were finished.
It was, but a granny unit is what used to be, we now call an ADU. The other is a guest house.
That's what I
Okay,
was trying to
Can I
go for.
respond?
Yes. And I was backing you up on that.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Kreiser, you and I had this discussion at a Locac meeting several years ago with the Moskowitz project. So let's get the terms straight.
Well, my
And
understanding
that's
is,
the meeting you cussed me out at. So let's kind of just move forward.
Okay, Sue, you had a comment, and Lindy, I see your hand is up.
Okay, thanks, Bob. You sort of made a rather distasteful remark to us about were we to deny this project. And I hope you understand that the water savings that you're so proud of are under question now by the Coastal Commission as well as the county. So for us to just without any research, take your word that they did retrofits, we don't know what those are. We don't know how they even relate to reality anymore. So we are an advisory committee and we are trying to do the best we can with the information that we have. So for you to make remarks about us like that is kind of wrong. So we're here to discuss the project and please don't keep slinging at us, okay?
and it's wrong for this project to be denied.
I know you
Okay.
believe that.
Okay,
Thank
Bob,
you.
you said that, and Sue, let's go on.
Yes.
Lindy?
Okay, I'll unmute Lindy. Oh, you're unmuted.
I think I'm unmuted right now. I just noticed it was interesting. The property was purchased in March of this year. So it was with full acknowledgement of what the issues in the water sustainability and basin management are. So I think some responsibility should be taken for that. The water credits were building anyway. The county had money to cover a lot of that. So that argument just is a little flimsy. I know, you don't like it. You want to use them.
True, not true.
In the plans, you might want to go back and check it. It says 3-bedroom, 3.5 baths and guest house. So that is what you put the project forward as that. So if you want to change it, you need to go back and change it. It's that's why we're dealing with what we were given to look at. So I have nothing else to look at. So this is a gigantic house for what looks like 150 gallons per day is the estimate. That's, I'm 3-car garage. It's kind of like an oversized house to only be using 150 gallons per day. So I think, again, we come back to that discussion about how we feel about our sustainability in the basin, and we will have to agree to disagree. But I think it will be using far more than 150 gallons per day. That's at the best would be 3 people conserving like nobody else, like the rest of us in Los Osos in the Prohibition Zone have to do. Thank you.
Okay.
And when they purchased it, it was clear that they saved water for 300
Bob,
gallons a day.
One last
Okay.
thing is
Okay.
the septic tank is not addressed either. So that is an issue that I'm going to stand by because it is polluting right down towards where all the nitrates are starting to pile up. So I think they would need to consider the advanced septic system rather than the simple one.
And we did the perk test and we have to do advanced.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the board? Are there any other questions or comments from members of the public? Okay. Anybody like to make a motion on this
I do.
project? Hi, Lynette. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we send this project with approval to the full Locac next month, January.
Okay. Is there a second to that? If I don't get a second, I'm going to need another motion.
I would like Sue to do the same motion she did on the Mammon project.
Is that okay, Larry?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm asking for another motion.
Okay, I guess following the action of Locac, the motion would be that Land Use Committee will not make a recommendation on this project until the water concerns of the Basin Management Committee, the CSD, the Coastal Commission staff, and our water purveyors have been resolved. Although the project has merits and you're doing exactly what the county has asked of you, added water use at this time is very questionable and we will not support it.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Okay. Lindy, second. All in favor of that motion, signify by raising your hand. Yale's going to abstain. Julie?
And Julie's recused.
Oh, Julie's recused. Lynette, all those opposed to?
I'm a no. I'm
A no vote? Okay. And Yale's abstaining, and Julie's rescued herself.
Yep.
Okay.
I just want to make one suggestion. I mean, again, it's not to open up a discussion or anything. I think that the whole area of Los Osos should be under moratorium, just like we've been in Baywood. Otherwise, it's really frustrating and to hear all the stories, and it's very heartbreaking. So, but if there is a moratorium and they've been broken here in Baywood for years, for forever now. So I think that's what the Locac should recommend, not just not to approve, but to have moratorium, because otherwise it's just too confusing and we are wasting our time here. People are working so hard and for what? We are going to refuse them. So. Okay.
I think Bob has his hand up.
Am I allowed to speak?
Yeah, why not?
The fact that a person can come into town with a specific set of rules from the county to buy a piece of property, and they know what the rules are, they're advised of the rules, they go forward and follow all of the rules, and then have a community group say, we don't care about the rules, we care about us, is completely and unbelievably discriminative and wrong. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you for your comment, Bob. Moving along to our last project of the day, the Della vacation rental. I see they're here. Gotta unmute them.
I've asked Emma and Austin.
There. Hi, you guys there? I think we can hear you.
Hey, can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. My name is Austin. This is my wife, Emma. We just want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to present our project to you guys. We've been in Los Osos since 2018 and in the surrounding area for the last 10 years. We are hoping to obtain a vacation rental permit for our home at 1498 11th Street. And we're here to just tell you guys about our project and address any concerns that the Land Use Committee may have.
So my husband and I, we fell in love with Los Osos, and we've been committed to finding a way to settle here. We found jobs with me as an elementary school teacher, and my husband Austin works in construction. And we have dreams of raising a family here one day, and we've been looking for ways to support that dream. So we started to look into the vacation rental idea in June when we were told by a friend that they have a homestay permit that they use to bring in a little extra income to offset just the cost of living in this area. And we thought, what a great idea. As a teacher, we like to go on my breaks and go camping or visit family, and that would be a way for us to rent out our home and, as we said, offset the cost of living. So when we got this idea, we immediately reached out to the county to inquire about the process, and we found out we didn't qualify for a homestay because we live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 668 square foot home. Thus, we pursued the vacation rental. We found out that there were new ordinances that could be adopted within the next few months. And under the new ordinances, as someone had mentioned, our home would not qualify because the new ordinances that are going to be advised in 2022 have the 2021 have the, no, it is 2022. They just pushed it back a year. It has the 500 foot radius, and we are 480 feet away. So although the ordinances have not been adopted, we want to address the concerns that Locac may have. We recognize by reading the vacation rental guidelines for Los Osos, the document that Locac submitted in 2018, that it is clear that Locac has the best intentions for the Los Osos community. They want to make sure the community character is maintained, the available housing market is preserved, and that neighborhoods are not impacted. The size of our home plays a big role in addressing the concern for maintaining community character. As a 1-bed, 1-bath, we'd only be renting to singles, maybe one couple or a couple and a small child, because they wouldn't be able to fit more than that in our home. It wouldn't qualify as a party home per se, because it wouldn't fit many people. We have really good relations with our neighbors, and we put a lot of love into our home. So we're really invested in keeping it nice. So in order to do this and managing our hopeful rental, we'd be vetting the applicants, and we, as the primary cleaners of the rental, we're incentivized to rent to non-partiers that are responsible and just looking for a relaxing, quiet getaway in our beautiful town. We also hope to have a little book that features local Los Osos cuisine and artists and plant shops and activity companies and other small businesses that we love to recommend them to go out and support our community. We also recognize that there may be concerns on the neighborhood impact of a short-term rental. The location of our home plays a big role in that. We are located on the corner of 11th Street and Paso Robles. As many of you know, 11th Street is often nicknamed Highway 11 as one of the busiest roads in Los Osos. While there are many areas of Los Osos that end in dead ends or tight neighborhoods with only local traffic, we don't feel that our neighborhood is like that. We almost feel like we're off the 101. We're also located right next to a church and a home care facility where new cars come and go on a weekly basis. So if we decided to exercise the permits on weekends, we don't think that our neighbors would necessarily notice that. We also recognize your concern for preserving the available housing stock for long-term rentals and permanent residents. And as we are the primary residents of the home, there would be no change to the housing stock. So we hope that we've addressed some of the concerns and that you understand our motivation and our hope of having this rental. And just thanks for giving us time to present, and we'd be happy to try our best to answer any questions that you all have.
Okay, thank you very much. A very nice presentation. Are there any questions or comments from members of the board?
I would just like to say that I think 480 feet splitting the hairs with 500 would just be ridiculous. I don't see any problems with this project at all.
Lindy, go ahead.
And I kind of agree, even as a water watcher, water warrior or whatever, I feel that makes a big difference. But of course, we are hoping that you will have tight restrictions on how much water, awareness that if when you do have homestays that they do not use excess water. And then I did drive past your property and noticed that there is a RV in the back. And so I just don't know what the issues are with that, if that's used for overflow already. But otherwise, I can understand your situation. And I think, a small, vacation rental is not going to hurt our water supply as much as some of the previous projects we looked at.
If I could just note that the RV in the back is just storage right now. You can't sleep in it or, or live in it or anything like that at this point. It's
Yeah,
my like
it's-
childhood home.
It
thing.
is a 1971 Airstream that my grandfather gave us for our wedding gift to, but it is a storage
Nice.
unit.
It has, yeah, we sold our childhood home, so it has all my childhood memorabilia in it. Right now, there's nothing else in it.
Okay, I think it's a beautiful RV.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from members of the board?
I think Julie was next, Larry.
Oh, I didn't see you. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Julie. Oh, unmute. Wait a minute.
Sorry, she's been asked.
Unmute.
Thank you. I muted myself during the previous item. I'm in support of the project. I think, number one, the ordinance has not been passed and it's not the law yet. I have my doubts that the 500-foot rule is going to stand. It's draconian in nature. It's basically a moratorium on vacation rentals for Los Osos because I've seen the map that shows how very few could actually be applied for in the future. I think these are this lovely couple. One thought I had is here they are trying to stay in what's left of so-called affordable housing stock in our community. And I'm sure it's a struggle because of the cost of living. What the other option for this couple is to work weekends and not go anywhere. This way they can actually take a vacation and somebody pays to stay in their space and they can own their home and see a little bit of the world. I don't think 20 feet from your overly broad 500-foot radius is worth that. In other communities, there's a distance modification that can be made and has been to some of their distance requirements. This one just is so small of a modification or variance. I hope the rest of you support this project as I will.
Okay, thank you, Julie. I see Sue and Trish have their hand up.
Yeah, well, Julie, I'm the first one who's unfortunately not going to agree with you. The ordinance is definitely not law yet, but when it was created to be followed until it became law. Obviously, we have no control over what the county does, but we do have control over what we do. And the few of us here on this board represent the public of Los Osos. We spent almost a year grinding out these regulations, and I'm representing them right now. They're going to come to me, what do you mean 500 feet? 480, 450, where do we draw the line? It's not an ordinance yet. It will be an ordinance as soon as the Coastal Commission hears it. And if you guys are willing to wait and come back after they make a decision, we will know exactly what we have. Julie doesn't think this 500 feet is going to stand. So maybe at that point we can say gladly, yes, you can have it. I agree. Your place sounds perfect for what we're looking for. Unfortunately, we get a lot of people saying a lot of things, and I'm not doubting your integrity at all, but we have to follow some sort of compass, and the people voted, the planning commission upheld it, the Board of Supervisors upheld it, which is just huge. So we can't start breaking down before it even becomes law. So at this point, I couldn't say yes to your project, although you know, it does sound great. But when we have it, when they've decided what they want, we can if you're willing to wait and come back and we look at it again, I would be happy to do whatever the ordinance says at that time. But right now it says what it says, and I would have to say no. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Trish, your hand is up next.
Yeah, what I'm going to say is that land use and Locac voted to support these guidelines, and that turned into an ordinance. Until we were told otherwise, we voted as a group to support these and to vote per the guidelines, not to change the guidelines until the Coastal Commission makes a change. So I'm going to be voting for the guidelines, which say that I cannot support that. But I do, like Sue said, please come again. If the Coastal Commission has changed the 500 feet to whatever, please come back and we will support it. I think it's a great project, but I have to support the guidelines that through our code of conduct, I said that I would be supporting because it was voted on by everyone in land use and Locac and passed.
No, that's not true. I voted no.
No, you voted no, but it passed.
Yes, it passed, but not everybody voted yes on land use.
I know, but
if
you reread the code of conduct, you're supposed to support what land use and Locac have supported.
Excuse me, I have to say something about it. I mean, when the five supervisors support something and the ones that dissent are vocally against it, they keep vocally being against it. So I think Lynette has absolute right to oppose something she does not agree. Absolutely not. You cannot force somebody to vote against their opinions.
Then yeah,
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Larry.
I don't want to get into a big discussion on this. I would like them to come back also. Lindy, you've got your hand up.
I feel in this case, and I'm sorry because it does keep affordable housing to some degree intact. And every other vacation rental that I have looked at has been a much larger scale. I calculated the water use per day would be 133 gallons a day estimated. That is not, anyway, I support the ordinance, but I would like to support this project because of the smallness of it and the small impact that I think that it does make on our basin. So I'm not sure how I'm going to vote. I'm probably going to have to recuse myself.
Okay.
Because they're currently using 100 gallons a day. The excess would be possibly 33 gallons. The excess is what I'm talking about.
Okay. Robin, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, 500 feet means 500 feet, not 480 feet, not 520 feet. So if one thinks 480 feet's okay, where exactly would one draw the line? Is 450 feet okay? 460 feet? When 500 feet was what was originally advocated for, and it was what was supported by the planning staff, the building and planning. It was fully passed unanimously by the planning commissioners, and it got a 3-2 majority with the Board of Supervisors. I'm going with the 500 feet.
Yale, I see, and then.
So the original ordinance that we presented did not consider homestay the same in the same strict manner as a vacation rental. So because of that, and because it was not yet approved, I'm going to support this project because of the only 20 feet difference. Is kind of very unfortunate. And the fact that the next to them is a homestay, which the Coastal Commission actually considering now as severe as vacation rental. And I understand that, but it hasn't approved yet. And we did not recommend that. We recommended that the homestay will not be as strict as vacation rentals. So I'm going to actually vote to support that.
Okay. Sue, discuss your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, I just wanted to say in regards to what Yael said, that it is true that we initially did only say vacation rental to vacation rental. But when it came out of the planning department, it became their language that they chose, which was all short-term visitor serving accommodations. And Locac supported that at that time. So we have a history of supporting that. In fact, I went to the Planning Commission in support of the ordinance, and I have everyone on Locac, if I had the permission, if I had their permission to go to this meeting and give my support for the ordinance. And Tim Carstairs was the chair at the time, and I got everyone's okay. And so we have been supporting the new language all along through the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors. So the intent of that original statement in the guidelines was that we are supporting this document as it goes through. And so right now, the commission, the Coastal Commission is seeing it exactly like that as well. And yes, they are choosing to go back at it and look at that specific thing. So we will support, like I said, I'm sticking, and I think we all should stick with what our community has brought to us, what we have sent forward. And if the Coastal Commission decides to change it, then we change too. So I don't agree with you.
Okay. Did you folks have anything? Your hand was up. And
Well,
any other comments or anything? Otherwise, I'm going to ask for a motion.
Thank you.
I'd like to make the motion.
Okay, go ahead, Julie.
I move that we send the recommendation to Locac for approval for this project.
I'll second.
Okay. Lynette seconds that.
David Bev
Okay.
want to say something. I don't know if you can give them still a.
Oh, okay. So before we actually do the vote, Dave, Bev.
Do you want to say something?
I'm sorry. I'm waiting for them to talk, and I'm the one that's supposed to unmute them. Sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. I was raising my hand initially to say you got to have public comment before you go ahead with the vote. But my public comment is in agreement with what several of your members have said, which is we went to a lot of trouble over a course of a year to come up with a compromise arrangement. And that compromise arrangement went at 500 feet. So unfortunately, these guys are only 480 feet away from a homestay. And that's a shame, but it's the truth. So my point is, with the others who have spoken in favor of what we decided, we should stick with 500 feet because we said 500 feet and it was a compromise that was achieved after a lot of trouble. Also, I want to just comment on the discussion of whether or not it's necessary to support Locac's decisions. And I have recently been acquainted with the rules and procedures to join a committee. And according to those rules and being a committee, for being a member of a committee, one of the requirements is that one support the decisions of Locac, whether or not you agree with them. So that's one of the requirements. And I have to say that it is one reason that I am thinking about whether or not I want to be on a committee, because I don't necessarily want to support something that or I don't necessarily want to agree with Locac when they support something that I disagree with. And I think that if a committee member has signed that agreement, they need to go with the rules, which are support the Locac decision. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I'm sorry if I didn't open it to the public
Lisa
for
also.
comment.
Lisa has her hand
Who?
up. Lisa.
Okay, Lisa. Oh, and somebody unmute.
Oh, shoot. God, where is she? Oh, there you are. Asked to unmute. Okay.
Good evening. Hi. This might sound a little repetitious, but I really agree with a lot of what Dave just said. And Robin's point about, sticking to the number of 500, because that could be a slippery slope. The ordinance is on the cusp of approval. I mean, it's right on the edge of it. And this has been a long drafting and creation process and getting through all of the hearings, and each leg of it, it's been approved. And I think that this project by these applicants could be denied, and they could come back and they could see what's up later. We also know there are other options available, for people who are trying to figure out rental. I don't know if it would work for them, but especially longer term rental is really good for the community. We also know that planning, and we've heard it directly from Carrie Brown, she's referencing the ordinance. I know it's not improved, it's not law, but the planning department has been referencing the ordinance as it is today. So it's made it through Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors, and it's on the cusp, and I think we should stick to it. Makes a lot of sense. That's my comment. Thank you.
Looks like Emma has a quick comment. Larry.
We're all good. Thank you, though.
Are we taking the vote right now, or are we still making comments from the committee?
Where's Larry? Did we lose
Larry.
Larry? Oh, there you are.
I actually have one comment. So as far as, getting denied, I mean, because I don't know the minor use permit process. I mean, we're about $3,000 into that process, obtaining this permit. And so I don't know if we get denied here. I mean, that's the only question that I have, and that's something I guess that we need to discuss with our planner on that side. But if we get denied here, I mean, do we just put it off until Coastal Commission comes up, because with their answer, because that could be, end of 2022 is when they said that they would we'd have an answer by then.
Larry.
I'm trying to ask Larry to unmute himself, and he's not following directly.
Yeah, we're not hearing you at all, Larry.
Larry, you're muted, I think.
No, the phone. Yeah, the phone is muted.
The phone one is.
The phone one is muted.
Yeah. I see that.
Hang on. Let Larry.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes,
Sorry
Larry.
about that. Anyway, so from here it goes to the Community Advisory Council, which is a meeting next January the 4th, Thursday. We just, as a committee, try to iron out some of the things before it goes to them. They just make recommendations to the building department and the supervisors. So again, approved or not approved, we don't approve things. We give, what the community kind of feels about, what their feeling is about it. So Does that make sense to you? And then again, what some of us are asking, you know, just wait till the Coastal Commission comes up with, you know, what their recommendations are, because then again, we could then make recommendations that 20 feet is doable. You know what I mean? It's close enough. We can't make that decision now because it says 500 and we all agreed to 500. But if the Coastal Commission says something different, you know, some year time down the line, you know, we could say it's okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say yes or no to any of this. I'm just giving you, you know, our thoughts and ideas and some input into it.
There's still.
And then, go ahead, Julie.
One hand up.
They still have.
Okay.
Larry, I see that Shani Xiong is on the call, on the meeting tonight. She's the planner from the planning department. I don't know if she's here for this project. Maybe she could speak to the process for these folks.
And Elena has
Yeah, Elena has her hand up. I don't know if that was for public comment, but
yeah.
But anyway, there's a planner in the meeting, and maybe she can answer the process question.
Okay, Elena, did you have a question or comment you wanted to make? And I guess we have to unmute you. There you go.
Thanks. I just kind of wanted to raise something from a public perspective. I was lucky enough to attend Baywood Elementary School along with all of my siblings, and I realized that this body has to support, you know, the findings of Locac. But I just want to make a comment that this young family is trying to make it in Los Osos. Who is going to teach the children of Los Osos if teachers can't afford to live here? I just don't understand the thought process behind some of this. I understand and respect that there are water issues, but there also has to be some reasonable accommodation for the fact that, like, there are kids that live in Los Osos. Where are the teachers going to live? You know, if you look at HUD's guidelines for affordable living, you know, it's 30% of somebody's gross income. What does that work out to for a teacher? About probably $1,600 a month. Is there a rental or a housing unit available for that for teachers in our community? I just think there is a lot to be considered here that is obviously flying below the radar.
Okay, thank you very much for that comment. We do have a motion on the table. Lindy, go ahead. I'm trying to get everybody in here.
Oh, shoot, I have to, sorry. God. I'm failing. I know I'm getting an F.
Sorry, you got a big job there. I guess I just wanted to bring forward a general comment. Every project that we've looked at this evening has been approved and meets, the county has put people through the process of paying for permits, going through myriad amount of steps. It's very frustrating to me that we're in a position where Locac has already said we are not going to approve new water use. We are not going to approve vacation rentals. I mean, we have these projects already set in stone, which, you know, and I agree like 90% that there shouldn't be moving away from this. But I find this is very frustrating that the applicants can't have a better sense of when it comes to Locac. It's probably, you know, if it uses water, it's not going to be approved. If it is with under 500 feet, it's not going to be approved. I'm just putting it out that it hurts to say no to these projects when they've done their due diligence, yet it's the county hasn't prepared them to know that Locac is not going to approve most of these that come through. So it's just a comment. I don't know how we can fix it, but I would like to see some direction where the county, if Ms. Shani Xiong is there, can see the turmoil that this is creating, to sit and go through a project, have an applicant explain everything as well, and all the work that they've done and the money they've put out, then we have to just deny it based on some standards that we've already got set. So nobody's wrong in this picture, but it's creating a lot of strife, I think. I think we need to address this at some point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lindy. Last call, comments, questions, anything? Otherwise, we're going to finish the vote.
Lisa, and I thought Shani had her hand.
No, she
I
has.
see Lisa Tanker's hand up.
Yeah, just one comment. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to make one comment in relation to, oh, your name just went away. The woman who spoke about teachers needing places to live and the cost of the economy and how expensive it is to live here. I just want to remind everybody that this ordinance comes from that place, from that preservation-oriented place. We are trying to maintain housing stock in Los Osos. And you know, it's a system. We're trying to put a system in place. And this is the first time we'll have this system. And some people are going to be right outside of those numbers. And it's really unfortunate, but it's the best we can do. We need this ordinance in place. And really, we are trying to preserve housing stock. And that's my comment.
Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so there was a motion made by Julie to support this vacation rental. All in favor? Raise your hand. I see Yael. I heard Julie.
No, I'm not. I'm not in favor now.
You're not in favor. Okay, so 2 in favor.
It's really hard.
Opposed?
It's really hard.
Okay.
But we have to go.
It is, and I'm saying come back. You know, let them decide. Lindy, are you abstaining?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, and one abstain. Whoever's counting all the votes here.
5 opposed.
Okay.
No, 1
So, yeah. So again, this is going to go on to the Community Advisory Council in January at their 7 o'clock meeting, the third Thursday. And so we hope to see you there again.
4th Thursday.
4th Thursday. They might have, you know, different outlook than we do. And yeah. And, you know, get involved too, you know, become part of Locac. Always saying that.
Larry, Ms. Young wants to speak now. Can we let her speak? Are you okay with that?
Oh, yes. I was waiting to see her hand raised. Yes.
Okay, you've been unmuted.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, everybody. I'm Shani Seong, a supervising planner. I work with Carrie Brown, you know, very closely. And I want to say this is my first time attending a land use committee meeting. And I'm hearing a lot of great points being raised from different sides of the tables. You know, every point is valid. You come from a genuine place where you're trying to look out for the protection of your resources, the community overall, and the housing concern. So, and then we have this 4 projects that is before you, that's putting you in a really hard place. I can understand that. The process allows, you know, the process is afforded to the public. You know, the county does everything we could to tell them what is on the table, where the committee stands, even, you know, from the draft ordinance, the vacation rental ordinance that was adopted by the board and yet to be certified. We tell them to the public, but we cannot tell them not to apply because it is still a process that is afforded to the public. But we disclose the current situation, the dynamic, you know, where it is right now. And then the final decision is still up to the applicant to pursue the permit or not. And so as a staff member for the county, I'm speaking specifically for the vacation rental. I understand, and it breaks my heart, and it's so with the for the workforce, in the local community. However, as a staff member, I have to say, and I'll say this because the direction is set once the board adopts a specific ordinance. It is yet certified by the Coastal Commission, so it is still not effective operationally, but the tone has been set. So that is why we are in this current gray period where internally, locally, we have a direction set by the board. Coastal Commission might take a year to deliver it and maybe finesse it a little bit more. And maybe the homestay may not actually, stand, and it will get maybe loosened or relaxed, or I don't really know what's the final outcome there with Coastal Commission. But we have to work with what we got today. And so that's why I agree with the committee that waiting it out once is with a more specific direction given by the Coastal Commission will actually help alleviate all this gray period of where we cannot really say yay or nay. Our heart feel one way, but our book says another way. So that's why we're in such a tough position right now. And I feel I totally understand and feel the sincerity that's being expressed by the committee tonight. I'll definitely take it and bring it back to the department as to why, how we're going to proceed with advising the public. I hear your frustration. And so I will definitely take your concerns as a committee. I'll take your concerns back to the department and then evaluate this, how we're going to continue with intaking permit applications in Los Osos. You have a lot of programs and ordinances, the community plan, the moratorium, the growth moratorium, everything is kind of all these instruments are in place to protect and to preserve the community. They hurt you. All these programs are in the works. They just need time to get implemented and be fulfilled. The basin plan, these are all good plans. They're all great efforts, decades long of effort. They just need time to be fully implemented and come to fruition. So I appreciate everyone's time tonight. It was great, robust discussion. I'm learning a lot. I'm hearing a lot. So I'm going to take it all back to the department for a closer look. So I just wanted to offer that from the county perspective.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you very
Very
much.
well. Appreciate it. And
Most
come on back to our meetings. They're always fun.
I'll see you in January for the meeting.
Yeah.
Before she leaves,
Right.
can I make a comment?
Sue, yeah, go ahead. And then I see Kurt, you've got your hand up too.
Shoni, I just wanted to thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it. It's nice to know how you guys are doing your job and how you interpret certain things. We're sort of on the outside. We don't really understand all the time. And you said that you're looking at different ways that maybe you can help people when we're in a position like this where you don't know what's going to happen. And we've talked to the county about it before. We didn't get anywhere, but is there any chance you can ask for payment for a minor use permit later after they go through Locac and land use and find out the tenor of the community and all, when we're in a situation like this? Or I mean, is it possible to consider when that takes place? Also, we are unfortunately, our realtors aren't always as forthcoming as you guys are now with this. I have to say, in the beginning, you guys weren't telling everybody. This probably was even before you were there, but in the beginning, you weren't telling people about the vacation rental guidelines, and they were coming here and kind of hitting a wall that they didn't know they'd hit. But the realtors are just selling lots. I have a friend who almost bought a lot on Pasadena Avenue 2 years ago because guy told him he could build his dream house there. Well, everyone knows you can't build on Pasadena Avenue. So we deal with all sorts of segments of the land before people get here. And it's confusing to us, and I appreciate hearing. I'm sorry, I'm just talking in circles. I appreciate what you said. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. I hear you.
Okay. Kurt, I see you got your hand up.
He's muted.
He's been asked to unmute.
There it is. I see it. I just wanted to finish. I appreciated Lindy's comment that it's hard for you guys to deal with disappointed public. And that would be helpful if the county could tell us the information necessary earlier in the process. My understanding is the letter that you adopted regarding water use was sometime in October. Is that right?
I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was September.
Yeah, so we had applied for our MUP September 1st, I believe. So there was no letter, no intent of the board that the county could have communicated to me at that point. And certainly not in the earlier years, I would say. So that's one of the frustrations I think a lot of people are feeling is things are being applied retroactively. There was really no ability for anybody to tell us anything. And all we could go on was what was publicly available and public knowledge. That seems like a line that I would hope that you would consider, that people that had the ability to have the information are in a different position than people that weren't in a position to have that information and that didn't exist at the time decisions were made. So I just wanted to add that because I certainly, as I said earlier, appreciate where you're all coming from and the issues are real. However, some of us are getting caught up in it in a way that doesn't feel like we had a chance. So that's it.
Larry, may I add one more thing?
Go ahead, Lynette.
I would just like to say that Locac is advisory only. We do not make any land use decisions, we advise. So Kurt, where your problem is probably going to come from is the Los Osos Sustainability Group. That's probably where your problem is going to come from. So, you know.
Can you just not?
You're not
unmute him. He wants to respond. So.
Larry?
Yeah, I understand the Los Osos Sustainability. I understand the Los Osos Sustainability Group is probably going to be our largest hurdle in the Coastal Commission, which is unfortunate. And I know it has nothing to do with you. However, if there was community support for our project through Locac, I think that would carry some weight with the Coastal Commission. So that's where I'm feeling frustrated with my public advisory council for Los Osos is I can't do anything about a private action committee that's got their own agenda. And I'm going to have to deal with that. That's unfortunate too. I wish those people maybe consider how and where people are coming from and how they got there and when they got there. That would be, you know, in a perfect world, that would be great. But you got to do what you've got to do. And it would, I think, be a positive if my Los Osos Community Action or Community Advisory Council was supportive.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Yeah, very well noted. Sue, I see you had your hand up again.
Yeah,
and then Lindy, you're next, Lindy.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you say, Kurt, but I think it's unfair for you to hang this on the Los Osos Sustainability Group. I would recommend that you go to the Coastal Commission website and look at some of their staff reports. Specifically in December, they're hearing an appeal on a guest house and expansion of a house in Baywood. And if you read the summary report of the staff report, you'll find that it goes way beyond us, way beyond the Los Osos Sustainability Group. They're concerned about our water usage, and that's coming from them. So your problem isn't us, and it isn't the LOSO Sustainability Group, it's our water. And the Coastal Commission will be your final arbiter. So kind of keep straight, try not to get angry with people that maybe don't deserve your anger quite as much. I realize you're in a bad position, but if you'll read the summary reports on any kind of water usage in Los Osos, and you'll see what the commission staff has to say. Thank you.
Okay, Lindy, I see. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just try
And
to.
then Danielle.
I'll just be brief. I attend all the basin management meetings. I've been attending them since they started. So if you attend one of those, you'll get a reality check as to why Sustainability Group has taken the actions that they have, because our basin is in dire straits. It's not just, not wanting more people here. It's about what we do to remain sustainable is we have to deny new growth. And that's why I use 30 gallons. My household uses 30 gallons per person a day. I mean, we are doing our best, but when somebody comes in and says they want to put a swimming pool in, and then it bumps right up against the reality of what Sustainability Group is doing. The water purveyors are concerned. That is a reality. So I hope the county understands that that's where we're coming from. Not that we're anti-growth, it's just that we're trying to make sure that we don't make mistakes like the past 1,250 homes that were issued to add more nitrates to our sewer back in 1984 or 85. Those are things that happened, the county let them happen, and we have to live with the results. So same with the water, it was not addressed long ago, and now that it is being addressed, that's the reality that we're all, those of us that attend those meetings and understand, are dealing with. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, Lindy. Yale, I see your hand.
All I have to say is that we have to look for other ways to bring water in, because it's not going to get any better. So I don't know if the basin management group is talking about it. I haven't been attending, but if they don't, then we are missing the boat, because we have to bring water in from outside.
Briefly, there isn't really a source because the state water's dried up. Everything is drying up.
I know. I heard that. I heard that.
Water except for making it from the ocean.
Okay, this is going to be a great topic for another time about water. I'm sure we have lots of different ideas about it. If there is nothing on anyone else's thing, I'm finished with my agenda here. I think we've had a long night. I'd like to thank everybody. Oh, yes,
Larry,
Lynette.
when is the next meeting? Because, we have the holiday. Are we going to be on the 3rd of January or what?
Oh, we do have projects. We do have.
I know we do. I just want to make sure we have a date we all know about.
Well, so that would be, I'm looking at my calendar, that's the 3rd, 1st, 2nd, be the 3rd of January.
Okay.
I'm all for having a meeting.
That's fine. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Yeah, Kurt, go ahead.
Unmute him.
Oh, geez.
Okay, sorry. Waiting for somebody else to unmute these people, kind of getting it.
There we go.
I was wondering if you could tell me again when the next Locac meeting is, because I think that's where I show up next.
That would be
27th of January.
27th?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I assume, Sue, do you send out an agenda for that?
Yeah, it'll be 4 days before. It'll be on the Monday. You'll get the agenda. I will send it to you with, and it'll have the link in it, just like it did this time.
Thank you.
Mhm.
okay. Well, I'm going to say this meeting is adjourned. Otherwise, I hope everyone found it informative, at least. I know it's a little controversial, but we got through it.
It's getting tired to get together just to disapprove project. It's getting very old.
Well, I think the county has heard that, and we'll have to see what's going on until we can come up with something, you know. But yes,
But we are just working on different planets, you know. It's just, that's the regular inefficiency of the county. I mean, they do one thing, we do one thing. I mean, it's really painful. So what's the point, you know?
Again,
and I have a lot of experience. And I have a lot of experience in that. So this is just a small thing, but you know.
Yeah.
It's getting old.
It's a good topic for another discussion, but not tonight.
No.
Okay. So, again, thanks to everybody. Happy holidays. Hope
happy holidays.
You know, I just finished celebrating my holiday. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to say it, but I got Christmas to look forward to and New Year's. So we'll see everybody the new year.
Great.
After the new year. Okay. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Yeah.